He just won the Super Bowl and signed the biggest contract that any offensive lineman ever got. But I got Aaron Rodgers, so I think we're pretty much even at this point. Here's Orlando Brown Jr. Good to see you. Welcome.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm happy to be here.
You go from Kansas City to Cincinnati. You go from Patrick Mahomes to Joe Burrow. Tell us about the decision to go to Cincinnati, where they desperately need that help on the offensive line.
Yeah, man, I just felt like it was a great fit, especially for me and my family, my situation, man. I'm a winner. I love playing ball, and I'm spoiled. You know what I mean? I'm coming off a Super Bowl. I've been fortunate to play with a ton of top talents, especially at the quarterback position, and I feel like it's the best opportunity for me, and just a great fit.
Yeah, I remember when you went from Baltimore to Kansas City, a lot of the discussion was you were playing right tackle in Baltimore, playing left tackle in Kansas. How important is it to you to play that left tackle spot?
Yeah, very important. And, you know, obviously he knows, you know, my dad played in this league for 13 years, and for me, the standard was set in my household to be a left tackle. And I grew up watching Jonathan Ogden. I grew up watching guys like Andrew Whitworth and all of these different guys, man. So the left tackle position is always where I felt most comfortable and spent the most time. So I feel like it's the best for me.
Orlando, take us through like the last couple of days. Was it hard to leave Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid?
Of course, man. I mean, you know, obviously for a while I thought that was going to be my forever home. You know, I was very comfortable there. It's unfortunate things didn't work out, but that's just part of the business. You know, things like that happen. So, man, I ended up in an amazing situation here in Cincinnati.
You know, this team, your new team now, seems to really rub the Chiefs the wrong way last year. Burrowhead Stadium.
Definitely.
You guys really enjoyed beating them. Now you're going to the other side. What's that like?
I mean, look, man, at the end of the day, man, who's feeding me and my family, that's who got my loyalty. So, I mean, I can't say anything other than that.
Teddy Bruschi is with us as well. Teddy, you have a question?
Orlando, how you doing? You've got a habit of blocking for MVP quarterbacks in terms of Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. Now you go to Joe Burrow. You excited to do that?
Man, I'm fired up, man. I'm fired up. You know, I've seen, obviously being on the other side, I've seen Nine make so many different plays and seeing the things that he can do with the ball, the way he moves around in the pocket, their system, man, I mean, their success, everything kind of speaks for itself, man. I'm fired up.
You mentioned the great quarterbacks. Again, there are so many great young quarterbacks in the NFL, and you have now played with two of them and will join a third here in Joe Burrow. How would you describe the differences in playing with and blocking for Lamar Jackson, who obviously has something of a unique style, versus what it was like playing with Mahomes?
Yeah, I mean, I also feel like they're both in different systems. So, you know, it's kind of hard for me to necessarily give you like a true gauge on that. But it's just different systems. I mean, talking about a pass-heavy scheme, run-heavy scheme, both are legendary talents and legendary leaders. So.
Orlando, you've been franchised. Your forward teammate, Lamar Jackson, currently is a franchise player.
Yep.
Based on your experience, like, what advice would you give him?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard playing on the tag. You know, obviously with the thought of injury, with the lack of guarantees, uncertainty, you know, I just would encourage him to, you know, to be positive. You know, throughout the year, focus on ball as much as you can, eliminate the distractions, and just kind of do what you do. You know, it was really hard for me last year to somewhat stay comfortable. You know what I mean? Be able to maintain that mindset of comfortability because, you know, at the end of the day, we're all a play away from being out of this game. And so, you know, just having that mindset, that focus, man, and eliminating those distractions.
His situation is so unusual because at least from all the reporting that we get from the great reporters we have like Dan and others, you know, his desire to get a fully guaranteed contract, which, I mean, look, you grew up in the game, so you know that that's never really been a thing. I'm just curious your perspective as one who played with him, and I know you like him a lot. What is your perspective on the unique situation he finds himself in beyond just the franchise piece of it?
Yeah, I mean, you know, as I spoke about, you know, the system, obviously with a new coordinator coming in, you know, I think it kind of gives him an opportunity to, you know, expand, you know what I mean? And I'm sure we'll see a little bit more talent and things like that. But, man, I'm excited for him, you know, this year. You know, he's a hard worker. And as far as I know, he's been getting after it this offseason already. And so, man, I mean, I expect big things from him, period.
So based on what you know about him, and I don't know how much you know about the current situation and how you expect him to figure something out with Baltimore?
Yeah, I mean, you know, honestly, like I don't really have an answer for you on that one, but I just feel like, man, you know, at this point in time in the NFL, I do believe that fully guaranteed contracts should definitely be something that we're discussing. And someone like Lamar, his status, his ability, the things that he's shown as a leader, his qualities off the field, I don't know if there's anybody more deserving right now than that. than him. You know what I mean? Maybe some other quarterbacks that are coming up, but I would personally believe he definitely deserves a fully guaranteed deal.
Now, I'm going to be completely honest here. When I first agreed to have you here as a guest on the show, I did not know you were already going to have been signed, and I was going to try and recruit you to the Jets. So all of my Jets material, unfortunately, doesn't work for this conversation.
Like, my son roots for Cincinnati, and we were talking yesterday afternoon. I said, you're going to be on the show. He said, hey, tell him to sign with the Bengals.
Hey, it worked out for me.
So before he went to bed last night, I said, we're way ahead of you here. We already got it figured out.
I'm just curious, watching it from a distance, because the Aaron Rodgers thing has played out very publicly. But what is your perspective? An all-time great who now appears to be leaving one franchise, going to another. I mean, it's a complicated thing. What have you observed in all of this Rodgers stuff?
Yeah, no doubt, man. And similar as Lamar, you know, I'm a player, so I'm biased, but I'm pro player. I mean, I feel like it's awesome, man. You know what I mean? I think more often than not, football players should be able to control that narrative. And, you know, it's something that hasn't been a part of our sport just because of the outlook and the way things are shaped. It's more common in the NBA, you could say, but I personally feel as though that him controlling, being able to pick where he's going, saying he wants to play for the Jets, hopefully everything gets worked out for him. As somebody that's been through a trade, I mean, I think it's awesome for him.
That's a really interesting perspective. We bring Teddy in for what? Teddy, you have one more for Orlando?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting, Orlando, what you said when you talked about Lamar Jackson deserving of a guaranteed contract. Are current players out there rooting for Lamar to get this done?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think, you know, you've seen that a little bit on social media. I feel like everyone kind of understands, you know, the type of player he is and what he's done. So.
And let's go back now, if we can, finish it up with your crowning achievement here, having won the Super Bowl just a month ago. And for those who don't remember, your offensive line is going up against a defense that gets after the quarterback, and you stoned them. 0 sacks allowed in the Super Bowl against those Eagles. What was that? What did that performance say? What was it like being out there that night?
Oh, it was awesome. And I think up front, man, we just kind of understood the assignment, knew what we needed to do. Coach Reed and everybody, Coach Heck, our offensive line coach, everyone put us in great position.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.